Welcome to Champagne Sunday. I'm Lauren.
Yay, I'm Bonnie.
I'm Beth.
And we're going to talk about life
After divorce.
And living
The best life.
and the life you love.
Yes, living the life you love on that other side.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome. All right. Welcome back, ladies. Good to
Hello.
see y'all. All right. So tonight, let's talk about the really exciting, frustrating, horrible, and excellently fun bumbling through dating experience. I think we all have a little bit of experience in that at this point. What do y'all think?
Are we going to talk about apps?
Sure. We'll talk about all of it.
Okey-dokey.
Let's just do a deep dive.
I have a limited, because I've been in a relationship for a while now, but there were a couple months when I was single after my divorce, and I had a very limited app moment, let's call it that. And it's not fun. I mean, it was interesting at first, but it wasn't enjoyable. It's so much work.
It is.
And I ended up, and like, I could talk to, I was just telling them this, I can talk to a brick wall. I can talk to anybody. Like, in person, I'm great. But like, it's so hard to connect with somebody in like a funny way, or for them to get your sense of humor on an app. So like, I said this really funny comeback to this guy one time, and he just stopped talking to me. And I was like, no, dude, that was funny. You didn't understand what I was saying to you. So it's just stuff like that. Like and people, you'll be having a conversation and then people will completely ghost you. And you're like, what happened?
Thought that was good.
We were having a decent conversation. And to be honest, I wasn't even looking for a serious anything, if you know what I mean. And it was still just like, I don't know, hard to text like that with somebody you have never had interaction with at all. And I ended up going on, and like, there were a couple people that I set up a thing with, but then they didn't follow through, or I didn't follow through. And to be honest, I shouldn't have been doing it anyway. I was just heartbroken at the moment. But
You needed a distraction.
I needed a distraction.
Well, it's
But
a distraction.
I ended up going out with this really, really nice guy, like, he was a professor, and he was really good for me on paper, and we had great conversations, and there was just no chemistry at all. And I think y'all talked me into going on a second date with him. Y'all and my therapist were like, you need to give this guy another shot. And he was so nice, and I felt so bad, but I just didn't want to do it, you know?
Right, yeah.
And on the way out of the second date, I was like, please, the second I walked into the second date, I was like, oh no, I don't want to be, why did I come? I shouldn't be here. Like, this is not fair to him. And he insisted on paying for dinner, which I also felt bad about. But then we were leaving, and in my head, I was like, please don't kiss me, please don't kiss me, please don't kiss me, please don't kiss me. And he kissed me. And then I was like, okay. Please let it be over. Please let it be over. Please let it be over. Please let it be over.
That was confirmation.
And then I got in the car, and I busted out laughing. I mean, out of the parking lot, hysterical laughter. I got home and I deleted every app, and I didn't get back on them again. I couldn't do it. And then guys, like, I don't know, guys can be, I am not a person who sends like pictures a lot. I don't even take pictures at all of me. Like, I forget to do that even when I'm with friends.
I think that I don't think our generations does that.
And not to be, but like, I'm kind of like, if it's not the real thing, I'm not like in person. It's just, I am just more of I want it to be a live thing.
I think I'm like that too.
Yeah.
I'm more old fashioned.
Yeah.
And so I did learn a lot from being some apps. And I tried Bumble. I tried Match.com. And then I tried Facebook dating. The good thing about Facebook dating is you can see if anybody you know knows them, and you can send a little picture, because it's only the first name, not the last name. And you can say, do you actually know this person? You can get some feedback.
References. You can get a reference.
I think references are really good. And then Bumble, says the woman's in charge, but I didn't really think that was true. And then Match.com, I met a really nice guy on there, but like, he's like, you need to put more pictures up. And I was like, I had like 5 pictures. I was thinking, I don't even take pictures of myself all the time.
No, you just need to meet me, and then you'll have an idea what I look like.
And you tell me, you don't have any pictures of you standing. I don't know that you're not crippled, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my gosh, all this stuff that I hadn't even thought of. I was like, okay. And then on my Facebook dating, I realized my parameters, you can set your parameters, but apparently they take those as a preference, not as like
an actual. They don't limit who
they
can
do
like
not
you.
limit.
I feel like I had the main things that I had when I was on the apps, other than that one, like, which was a successful. I mean, it was a good date. Had that
Actually,
been,
it taught you a lot.
it did.
About what
It taught me a lot
want
about what
and
I didn't want.
and that's huge.
To be honest, I mean, it was my ex-husband. It wasn't him exactly, but it was.
It was the same profile.
It was the exact same. I mean,
only nice.
Yeah, he's a nicer version of my ex-husband. He even had the same job as my ex-husband. It was wild. So I was like, what is it with English professors? So anyway, I ended up having one of three kinds of conversations on apps. Boring. Hey, how are you? Good. What do you do? I do this. How was your day? So it's just that. Or it was, how you doing? What is happening today? It was clearly a bot, which happened a lot on the Hinge app, which I only tried 2, I think. And Hinge ended up being the better one, but they had those
bots.
Or just like purely sexual, like wanting to be sexual. There wasn't really a good.
Well, you missed the 4th version of the one who has no English skills ability at all. It's not a bot, but yet does not speak with proper English.
It would have been better if they had been a bot.
Yes. Sentences would have been corrected before sentence.
Oh, no. Now that AI is a thing.
True.
I used to just kid, you need hair in the teeth and a jaw, but man.
Well, that's the apps are frustrating, and I'm more introverted than y'all. And so I find that, in fact, I've had the same guy like me 3 times, and I'll like him back, and he will not message me.
I've had that happen.
I am a Generation X woman. If you would like to go out with me, you need to say something to me. You do not need for me to wait for me to come and get you. That's not the way this works. You know what I mean? I have pursued and fought for relationships, and it has been the absolute wrong thing to do. And so at this point, because I am so happy on my own, that if you are interested in me, you need to do some pursuing and not expect for me to do the pursuing.
Yeah.
Because it leaves me with the impression that as a man, you feel you think you're so great that everyone should be falling all over you.
Yeah.
And really, as a man, you should be pursuing the woman.
But I have the opposite view of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
my
a medium
view
view.
is, I have done and arranged things and arranged childcare and done family vacations and packed the car and blah, 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 and made dinner reservations, and I've been in charge. I want a real man who says, I'm making reservations at so-and-so at this time, and I will pick you up. I want somebody that does that. I've already been in charge. I can do that all day. If I just want to make reservations at a place and go eat, I can do that for myself.
Yeah.
What are you going to bring to the table for me? What are you going to do for me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm old-fashioned. If you're going out with a man who cannot make a reservation, he certainly cannot make a plan for the rest of your life to be together with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you have somebody that can't figure out something, how to get somewhere, how to meet somewhere.
But that's not a can't, that's a won't.
Yeah.
But some people, I'm telling you, okay, listeners, you can beat me. I think we have a couple of generations of guys who have had women do everything for them. And I'm telling you, they can't do it.
Yeah.
Some of them might not want to do it, but there's a bunch of them that can't do it.
Yeah, you're right.
They're
wrong.
lost.
Yep. Because their moms did everything for them.
Or their wives or their girlfriends or whoever. Sorry. That's not going to cut it. Not going to do it.
Yeah, I think, and I'm struggling with that. I don't know where the men's head is. Like, how are they thinking about these apps? What are they expecting from, let's say, older women? I'm not one of the young ones. Like, what are they expecting?
I remember I was talking to this one guy. Also, listeners, I had just been through, like, a breakup with the love of my life, who I ended up back with, but like for 2 months I was not with him, right? And I was depressed. I didn't know what to do. And so I literally was distracting myself. I was not interested in anybody at all. I was just distracted. So, or trying to not think about it. And this one guy, I remember being like, we were having an okay conversation, and I said, I don't, do you like this? Like, I kind of like guys that have like an edge. And he was like, well, I don't really have an edge.
Like, you all smooth. You're a spoon, not a knife, right?
Yeah. And I don't know. I just, people are funny. But now, if it was organic, okay, going back to what you said about being pursued. I mean, I think I sent a first message a couple of times, but like only if it was, oh, this person looks really interesting or whatever. But organic, I think I'm at the point now that, and I don't anticipate I'll be single again, but if I were single, I feel like I'm at the point in my life that if I found somebody really interesting in public, I'd be like, you're interesting. Like, you seem cool. Do you want to hang out? Like, I feel like I'm at that point.
Where do you meet men in the wild? Like, it is so, like, I am not a barfly. I do not enjoy drinking at this point in my life. You know what I mean? And I would love to go to art museums and do all of that, but it's married men going with their wives that go to a lot of the things I enjoy. So it's like, where do I go to just meet somebody? You know what I mean? It's just kind of one of those. It's not like when you're in high school and college especially, or even young professionals, it is so much easier because your friends know you're dating and your friends know people and they introduce you to people, and you go out in groups and everybody's in groups, and it's like you're introduced to this.
Okay, so where are my friends?
Yeah, well, that's just it. But now
where are they?
Yeah, they're all married now. Like, where are all of these divorced people? Where are all of these divorced men that are supposed to be floating around for us to hang out with?
Our therapist has a singles group.
Well, yes.
That she
Yes, but we're not allowed to be a part of it because she's in it.
Oh. But they have stuff like that. There's also this like single people who travel thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would just find, I met my current partner because we were doing a show together.
Yeah.
And we share a lot of similar interests because we
and
both
my
love
interests are
stories
so
and
quirky.
theater.
Yeah, my interests are so quirky. It's hard to find.
Yeah, you don't want a golfer.
I've had that.
Yeah,
I've had that.
Yeah.
And my artistic side was not necessarily understood and appreciated.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which was,
I was driving through Mountain Brook.
Which was the price of admission, but
I was driving through Mountain Brook yesterday, and I was thinking about a bunch of my college buddies are from there. Mountain Brook, if you don't, is like a very upscale part of Birmingham. And I went to eat at La Paz in Birmingham yesterday because it's one of my favorite Mexican restaurants.
Yeah.
And I used to go there all the time in college. And my friend said, you used to go to La Paz all the time in college? That's bougie. And I was like, all my friends were from Mountain Brook in college. They had money. I mean, I didn't, but they all had money. And anyway, I was driving through Mountain Brook to get to La Paz, and I was looking at everything, and I thought, God, I remember when I used to want to be fancy.
When you thought that was...
I used to want to be fancy.
Did you want to be fancy because you thought you were supposed to?
Yeah, I think so. We've talked about that before, but like...
To be your authentic self and not you're supposed to. Which I think in dating...
But that's part of what you're talking about is you don't really want the golf... You don't want a country club guy.
I've had the country club guy.
Yeah. I mean, I went from a professor to an HVAC technician, and he is so much better a fit for me because he's...
Well, and I have to say...
The work ethic, said everything adds up.
I would love a country club guy if he also was an artsy country club guy. Like if he understood or even just cared about me enough to figure it all out. You know what I mean? I would be fine with that. I will not say... I have discovered in this slow little bit of dating that I've done is that I don't need to pigeonhole myself into anything.
Right.
I need to be open to whatever it is that might be supposed to be for me. And I can't do that if I have a list that I must go by.
Right.
And I do know that whoever it is I end up with will need to have had some schooling and understand just some of the basic
participles.
Yes, we'll be able to, grammar. Grammar will need to be something that even if they don't know what it's called, they follow the rules. I mean, it's just, as an English teacher, that just gets me. I can't listen to people. I start correcting their English in my head.
I corrected out loud.
I don't. But anyway, so that will need to be, so that part, but you don't necessarily have to have this huge college degree to have paid attention throughout your life and to be able to answer the phone at a business in a way that would be good for the business. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to pigeonhole myself, but on the apps, I have met a couple of men who I would say would be friends. Like they would be, one guy I went out with for a few months really, and we never really clicked the way we should have to really, really date. But I would consider he was a great person and a nice friend, and I didn't mind. I mean, I have another guy that I went out with years ago, and I still hear from him every once in a while, and I consider him a friend. And I would go out to dinner with him anytime, but we didn't necessarily click in any other way. So, but I still haven't met. It's just so hard. It seems like it's gotten even harder to find someone that's interesting.
I would say, okay, so here's the thing. If you're trying to, I'm just going to be very blunt.
Please.
If you're looking for somebody to sleep with, that's not terribly difficult. You can figure that out.
Right.
As long as you get comfortable or whatever.
Yeah, on the right, and different apps are for different things.
Yes, different apps are for different things. That's not that. One of my friends, my gay husband, let's call it that, he gets on Tinder. I mean, he doesn't date people. He just gets on Tinder a lot and has lots of hookups. And we were riding in the car one day and I said, "Are you ever worried that somebody's going to murder you? I would be so worried somebody's going to murder me. If I just went to meet them." And he goes, "I know when God will call me home and it will not be at the hands of some twink."
Okay. But that brings up a good point. He's a man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And us as women to go out with, I share my location with other women. I let them know that I'm going out. I share the pictures of him. I let them know that I've seen him and he's walking up. You know what I mean? There are things that I do to protect myself.
I take a picture of their license.
Yes. Yeah. The tag. I mean, there are things you do as a woman, especially, and that goes back to not having any references.
Yeah.
If you went out in college with a guy that your friend's boyfriend's other friend knew,
that they vetted,
then it would be like, what did you do to her? Where did y'all go? Everybody knew where you were and who you were with. Well, doing it this way, you really, your friends become a really big part.
But y'all did hear about that lady that met someone on an app, went on a date, invited him back, and he slit her throat. So it does happen.
Well, but why would you? I mean, you don't invite people back on your first date.
I don't.
Well, I don't. I mean, I wouldn't, just because I don't trust myself at this point. I mean, clearly my picker is bad. You know what I mean?
I'm not even going to comment on that one.
Yes. Okay, fine. I believe I have had double confirmation that I do not have a good selector for people to date. Okay? So if my picker is not functioning correctly, I need to be careful. And I think that right out of divorce, especially, you're I don't know, right out of divorce, I was going out with people and I was looking for that validation that I was still attractive and still wanted and still, a catch. And I needed that. And at this, right where I am right now, I already know all of that. I do know, I no longer need the validation in any of that. I just want.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I did that. And luckily, right out of the gate, I went out with the oldest living gigolo from.
Yes, but you were his reference. You knew him.
But I also knew what he was like. But y'all, I'm telling you, he's like the interim priest for divorced women. He gets in there, he shakes up things, he makes you feel fabulous and sexy.
And then he leaves you. And then he leaves you high and dry.
Dumps you on your ass.
Now that you feel all fabulous. Bye.
What I was going to say is
the next recruit.
Whatever the person ends up looking like, which can be exact. I mean, my partner looks a lot different than I thought my partner would ever look like in very many ways. Not I'm talking about.
No. If you had to choose your partner on paper, the man you are with right now is a much better fit than whomever you could have created in your head.
It's true. And what I was going to say is he's my best friend. He has been my best friend.
That makes all the difference.
It's why we got together in the first place. If we hadn't been such good friends, that wouldn't have I mean, it probably wouldn't have happened because, again, we have a big age difference. Like,
Right.
it wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense, but we couldn't, like, that's the only person I want to be with. What I was going to say about the apps and stuff and just dating in general is you want to be with your best friend, and it's really hard to manifest your best friend out of thin air. And it's really hard to do that on an app.
Yeah, it is.
Even with all the, whatever they run, algorithms or whatever, it's really hard because, like I said, you can punch in your preferences. And let me tell you, I will have, on any certain day, if I'm looking through, I will have 10 people that meet that criteria.
Yeah.
However, when you read their little thing, their little bio, and they say, if you're a conservative, swipe left. If you're a liberal, swipe left. If they come out with these very concrete things, it's a huge turn off.
It is.
It is a huge turn off.
Both ways. Either way. I mean, I'm like, I'm not dating for a political agenda.
Right.
And I'm not dating for, you have 6 grandchildren. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. I think, too, like, rigidity in that manner, they're going to be like that in a relationship.
Well,
they're going to be, it's not going to be fun.
But they already sound jaded.
Yeah.
When they start off that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, I was married to someone whose political views were not exactly the same as mine.
Yeah.
And that was never the cause of any of our issues.
Yeah.
I know.
You know what I mean? That was not, we were able to live together and cancel out each other's votes sometimes. And it was perfectly fine. That was never part of so that would never be something.
And
I
think that's a social construct.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That they feel like they have to put it on there. I feel like if you are swayed and you feel like you have to do something, you're probably not a person that I want to date, because I'm very like, I just want you to be your true self.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to have to think that you have to put something on there that maybe you do feel that way.
Well,
maybe
and it's
don't.
I think you should save that. Tell me you feel that way after we've been out a couple times.
Yeah, that doesn't need to be right up front.
But also I think you and I, Beth, both have lived in such a negative space in relationship for so long that when you see in a profile something negative, it's an immediate turn off because you're like, ooh, that reminds me of that space I came out of. I'm not going back there again. And so I definitely weed based on that.
Yeah.
And I also struggle because I created in my head the perfect man fashioned after somebody I went out with who does not exist. You date somebody and you think they're this one person and they turn out to be the devil or completely different. But so in my head, I'm like, oh, well, there's these pieces of the person I thought this person was. That's the person I want.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that person does not exist. And so I'm, to open my head and to look at for other people that might fit the same criteria.
And just having been someone who accidentally stumbled into the person that I'm with.
That you met organically?
That I met organically. And we're so different and so similar at the same time. But he has brought out things in me that I forgot about, or senses, things I find funny because he's my best buddy. I mean, so I don't know. I think it's good not to be. The truth is, if you just live your life
open.
Yeah.
So, all right, let me ask y'all just real quick, unless you had something.
You're about to say something.
I was just going to say what not to put on the hat, but we can save that.
Oh, okay. We should make that list.
Let's talk about safety real quick.
Yeah.
As a woman with apps and dating, what do you make sure you do not say, do not do? We've already mentioned a red flag in their profile, right?
Yeah.
I have thought in my head sometimes when I am really, really think I need to be on it, but don't really want to be on it. I will say they have to have a college degree. They have to have had kids. There's all of these parameters I put on it. That if they say that they're agnostic or I'm like, absolutely not. There's some things, but I don't necessarily believe I have to stick to has to have kids and has to have a college degree. But it's something I do put on there to make sure. But that, to me, that just, I don't know, for some reason that makes me feel better, especially when I'm not serious about looking. But I do know that I look for some things. I look for what they say in their profile that makes them seem open and like a happy person. I make sure that what they've put out there is the pictures of their best selves, clothed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was going to be one of my things. If you don't have enough sense not to post a picture in your bathroom with your toilet seat up and your dirty towels and socks and underwear on the floor, then you probably cannot make it past.
Well, yeah, and I tell you, and I do look in the background of photos.
Oh,
does it look like you actually spend some time on your home? Or like it's bare walls, bare anything, nothing. Like, I mean, like, have you taken time to create a home for yourself, or are you waiting for somebody to come do it for you?
That's so funny because I would never think about that stuff. My immediate most important thing is, are you funny? Or do you have a good sense of humor?
Well, but you haven't had to take care of a man in the same
half naked in front of an open toilet seat. That's pretty funny.
Now I wouldn't.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, that's funny enough. I'm not going to go there.
Anybody's going to be attracted to that?
Beth, you sent me a picture last night when I opened up the text. It's there and it is scary. You sent me a picture of somebody that came across your dating profile. And when I open up to text you, let me show you what I see.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
That's one of the ones that gets through my filter.
A naked man. A man with no clothes on.
Do I want to see your tattoo and try to figure out what the hell it is or what it says?
No, not even a date.
On purpose?
Yeah, not
like what? I mean, come on.
Yeah, so, I mean, and I know that those are nuanced things to look at, but they really do tell you a lot about the person who's posting the pictures. And Beth and I had to take care of a man who had mental issues that needed taking care of. And it just, I'm not ready. I don't want to go back there. My life is so fabulous right now.
Yeah.
I am looking for, if I'm even looking, I am looking for a man who can add to my life.
Right.
Who does not require another slice of it to be taken away from me.
Yeah.
And so those little things, they don't think that they're big, but they are.
Yeah.
But I also think safety, I don't tell them my last name. I don't tell them exactly where I live.
No.
I don't tell them my kids' names or even how many kids. I might say how many kids I have, but not any real details about them.
Names.
I hold everything, kind of gatekeep kind of all of the things you'd have to know about me to find me. Now, I'm not really hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got a podcast. I'm out there. I mean, if somebody really wants to dig and find me, they can. But I don't feel like I should be telling them all of these personal things out the gate. I need to meet you before you know some of the more detailed things about me. But that's a safety thing.
It is.
People skip over a lot. I'm just going to say.
People skip over safety things because they're not thinking about it.
Speed dating. So you get on there and you think, oh, no. And then you realize, wait a minute. And like you said, Lauren, I think a lot of people are lonely or want to forget what they're doing. So they put that and they meet people, but they don't pursue it because that wasn't their goal.
No. And to be honest, that was me.
And so
I'm the one. I didn't pursue it because it wasn't my goal.
I think there's a lot of that going on because, I mean, think about society. Society pushes you to have somebody to, for a long time, people think, you complete me or whatever. I remember I was on a date and this guy was really serious with me and he was like trying to have this conversation with me and he goes, do you believe in soulmates? And I said, no, I think that's bullshit. And so, we're not there. But I mean, I just don't, I think you are made a complete person. You don't need somebody to complete.
You don't need to. It should complement your life. And the wrong person will make your life harder, not better.
Yes.
Not better.
Trouble.
Yes.
But I think a lot of people don't know who they are. And I think that's a lot of problem with this kind of dating too. If you're on an app and you connect with somebody who is not sure who they are or what they want or doesn't have confidence in themselves, that's not a good place. That's not your best side that you're putting forward.
Well, I also think that we're also combating the people who think they have to be married.
Yeah.
They're on there to find that person to be married. I don't have to ever be married again. Now, if I find the right person, that might come up, but I am perfectly happy not.
Yeah.
So I think that there are people out there who think they have to be married again and have that mindset, and they end up again with the wrong person.
Exactly.
You don't have to be married.
Right.
You have to be you and find other people to help complement your life.
Yeah.
And if you have this I must be married attitude, then you don't need to be looking yet.
Yeah.
You know? And that's hard to explain and hard to
Or
feel.
you're looking to be married for reasons that aren't emotional.
Well, but if you have to be happy not being married and being on your
Yeah.
own first.
Yeah.
And then, which is so, and I'll tell you, I did not understand that until the last few years. But it really, you have to be okay but you have to be okay being by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're okay being by yourself and you think, oh, it might be okay to be married, that might be fun, I think I'll date. Okay, that is the great place to date.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, my life is not great unless I'm married. I can't, this is so awful because I'm not married. That you're going to have a 90% chance, which is not a real,
I think the truth
percentage.
to that is that it's just because you've been married. You're used to being married. Like,
we
forget,
about that on
we did,
yes.
but we forget that before we were married, you spent 20 probably years at least of your life not married. You know?
Well, and I do think that, and I have met some men in the dating world that have jumped right from, hey, it's nice to meet you. This time we got a lot in common, to, hey, talking to me as if I were the person he'd been married to. Like going into sexual preferences and all of these things within the first couple of weeks. And you're like, wait, excuse me? I don't know you that well. I don't even know
your middle name.
Yeah. So, but I think that they're so used to they want that connection of that person that had been there for a long time. They forget you got to back it all the way up to high school, where you don't do that.
People don't want to take the time to do that. That's why I think it's like speed dating. They want to see you, like you, date you,
have sex with you, fill the boxes, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really going to have to be, for me, somebody who's willing to take the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. But, I also think I've tried several different apps. What
was your favorite one? I'm curious.
It has gone back and forth. I didn't mind Match when I did it a couple of years ago. It was actually, I felt like it was pretty good. Easier to filter people and that sort of thing. I have done Facebook dating because it's free and because I can see if we have any friends in common, and I find that useful. But I haven't wanted to date enough to really invest time in anything else. And I did try, what's the one that you liked?
Hinge was the one that I had the better
Hinge.
things
now,
on.
My thing with Hinge is that you have to have a video on that one.
Do you?
Or audio. Like there's audio. Like this audio. They want you to record all these audio things, which is fine. But it takes so much time to set up a profile that you're happy with. You know what I mean? That you feel like you're putting your best self forward, which is fine. I did it for a little bit, but I decided that I'm not interested enough in dating to put that much time into my profile.
Yeah.
But I do think your profile is important. I think that my profile is important. I think I'd have to make sure I have enough variety of pictures. And I have thought about, I got to have a stand-up picture. I have to have, pictures of my face. I need to have recent pictures.
Do you know what I did?
Update pictures.
I had a gay man approve it.
Oh, there you go.
Yes,
I just need
you have to get your gay bestie. You had to get your gay bestie to approve.
I need to get your gay bestie to come.
That could be a big side hustle. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, it's like a resume. You want a new job?
Yeah.
To have all of your resume.
Some of these people that made it through my filter, no, they didn't have that.
So anyway, I don't know.
What's your favorite one?
Interesting that people choose this way to find somebody, or that we've decided this is the way you're going to find somebody. I think that's funny. My favorite one is Facebook dating because A, it's free. B, I can see if anybody knows the person. So I feel like you get a little bit of that familiar.
Yeah.
It's kind of a safety.
I did that one.
Thing.
I think I did that one for a minute.
But then, of course, run into people who, they know the person, but they knew them before life happened to them. And maybe that wasn't the best reference.
Well, okay, and I think we also need to talk about the difference when we first started dating, college and all of that, like dating seriously, and now. And we've talked about this before. We all were full of potential way back when. And at this point in time, for the most part, our potential is 85% realized. You know?
Yeah.
Like, we are not that I could be, they could be, they're planning to be. This is the life they're planning that they want to have. Now we're going, look at the life they had.
Yeah.
They're planning on having the retirement they want. Like, okay. It's almost like
my partner's an exception.
Okay, but your partner is still in the potential phase.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. And you are younger than we are. So even,
Oh,
you got to think about that too.
Yeah.
The people that I'm looking at, some of them are like retired and all of this. Well, they've already,
set in their ways.
set their ways. They've done all of these things, and they may or may not have fulfilled all of their expectations or whatever. But it is so much easier to fall in love with a person when you can fall in love with the idea of a person. And I find the people I meet now are much more concrete people than they were when I was looking on the front.
Well, and probably a lot more cynical. I mean, like,
life has happened.
Yeah, life has happened. So you get jaded. I mean,
yeah, they've been divorced, or they're widowed or widowers, or people come with baggage at this point in life.
Yeah, and we've talked about the price of admission before, which a friend of ours has said that every relationship, there's always going to be something that you do not like, that is not really your cup of tea, but that's the price of admission to have the other things that you really love.
Right.
Like, there's never going to be the perfect match, because honestly, wouldn't that be very boring?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, but the price of admission at this point, with all of the extra baggage, is a lot higher in some instances. So, just kind of thinking about all of that is just, but I do say, if you really want to date, you should go out and go on dates. No matter what, like, just practice. Look at them as practice dates. You don't have to love the person.
No.
If they're kind of okay, go on a couple of practice dates just to get you out there, just to kind of get over that fear of doing it.
And the other thing I think too
low
is
stakes. If you don't really like him at the beginning,
that's what I was going to say. Is even if you're not that invested, it's low stakes.
Yeah.
And when something doesn't matter, you're gonna not care as much. You'll be better at it. Then you get to practice.
I almost think that that's even better, is if to start off with.
Because if you've been married for a long time, you have not been on a date, like a first date, in a while.
Right.
So
yeah. So it has changed.
Yeah. So if you could just go out on a few dates, even if you don't really like them, then that really helps kind of, okay, this is how dating works now. Kind of gets you through all of that. So, and chances are, especially in the way today, nobody's going to know who they are or even know that you went out with them. Okay. I also will say, if you live in a small community like we do, and you don't want people to know that you're dating or meeting somebody, you do not need to go out to eat where you live.
That's true.
You need to go to the next city over.
At least.
And maybe two. Just that way you can kind of
gauge 2.5 hours away.
Oh, well, that's okay. Because that's what you just did. Which is fine.
And I still ran into somebody that I knew.
Exactly.
And it was still awkward.
Exactly. But, especially in a small community, there's less questions, less awkward. I have to introduce you on a first date and don't really even know you. Hey, yeah, this is so-and-so. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. All right. So I'm going to ask y'all another question. If you wanted to meet someone in the wild, where would you go? If you didn't want to go to bars, what are the options?
Well, for me, I would do something cooking related, something that I would have, or like the grocery store, but then you have to know when do men shop. They don't shop the same as when women shop. So you have to know that. I think anything for me, because I'm a sports freak, a sporting event would be great.
Yeah, it would.
As long with, museum or art or history or something like that. But I mean, that's what are those chances? What are the odds?
Well, there's zero if you don't ever go.
Slim to none.
For me, if I was single, it would be doing a show or because at the end of the day, those are the only people that are going to understand my life.
That's true.
Like my boyfriend now is the best theater widow because
he
knows what my job looks like. He knows what my career looks like and what kind of time that takes. And that's not
important.
Oh yeah.
But then see, I thought my ex and I were a good match in that way. He was a doctor. I was a nurse. We had weird hours. I knew what he did. He was in surgery. I had worked recovery and ICU. I knew exactly, what was going on, and it still didn't work.
Yeah.
So that's weird, and I don't know.
Well, and I don't necessarily think you have to. I think you could meet people who would love to be part of your world and would understand it because they cared about you enough to understand it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's been my experience. Or at a concert.
Now I love live music.
Yeah.
I would love to go to live music events, even if they were local in bars. That's the only bar scene I would like to go to.
The only problem with that kind of thing is it's hard to make, when you're in rehearsals for something, you're becoming intimately involved with the people around you.
That's true.
When you're at a concert observing,
it's just kind of
you don't have the same kind of connection.
And you can't have conversation.
So it's the same kind of thing. I met my ex-husband at school. We were at school. Well, when you're in classes together, you end up having a more intimate is the wrong word for just a class, but communal situation together. And that's
it's a shared experience.
A shared experience. And when you have a shared experience, it's easier to get to know each other that way.
Well, my friend this weekend, I was in...
I know what I would do. That singles travel thing. I would totally do that, where single people travel. Then you meet people who have a similar, I love to travel. Yeah.
I love to travel too. We could do that.
It's a good idea.
Y'all should totally do that.
We need to go on the Love Boat.
Y'all, listen, my entry fee, what did you call it? The entry fee?
The price of
admission.
So my boyfriend does not, I have traveled a lot in my life. He has not. And we just went to New York for the first time in January. And I was so worried, he can go, I was worried he could go either way. And
he really could.
Yeah, it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Because sometimes he likes crowds and sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he likes to go places, sometimes he doesn't. Well, and we've been to Disney, we've been to the beach, we've been to the mountains, we've done some of that. But I'm let's get on a plane and go places person when we can afford it. But we ended up going to New York and he loved it. I was so worried. I was like...
So he's a traveler and he got back
he
on the boat.
Loved New York. He said, when can we go back? I was like, oh, the prices of admission have been paid. That was the happiest. I was like, babe, you don't understand. We can go anywhere now.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. I know. It was great. It made me really happy.
Great.
Yeah, it's trying to find those. So you're talking about theater. My friend, I was in Houston with her this weekend, and she said, what is it you miss about being in plays? And I said, I miss that community. I miss having the inside jokes. I miss having that camaraderie that you get with having to solve these problems with these people. It's like being in the trenches with people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you're solving these problems. I miss that part. So to find other things that I could do like that, I do not have the time to do plays because I'm working on art. Art's taking up a lot of my time and it's very solitary. So I need to find ways, and that'll end in about a year.
But you can have an interaction. My boyfriend's mom met his dad on the McDonald's playground.
Oh, how funny.
I know. He was eating his lunch outside, and she had a daughter, and they were playing on the playground, and they just struck up a conversation. Yeah. I mean,
wow. That's,
Well, now, and I went to a museum. We went to a museum in Houston, the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston, on Saturday. And there were actually a couple of, I don't know if they were single. I didn't actually look at their hands to see if they were, but there were a couple of decently attractive people looking at the exhibit. And I was like, oh, well, that might, I don't live here. This is not a place to start up a conversation. Chances
at a place like that for a big exhibit.
Right. But they did not live near me either because they were not on the plane on the way home. But you know what I mean? But it's just one of those, if I had been around here and had gone to something like that, I could have struck up a conversation.
Yeah.
And it might have been more, productive. But
you're just more likely to do those things when you're on vacation.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Yeah. Need to start pretending weekends are vacations.
I do
How can I?
Weekend,
yeah.
and somehow they get filled up.
Oh, I don't. I go to the studio every weekend and spend the time by myself. Y'all come visit me there.
Well, and that's what we do on weekends. We're up at the studio a lot. So,
but I love it. I love getting into my painting right now. That's just where my
okay. Let me challenge.
Is.
I'm going to challenge you guys, and I'll join you after.
Can you bring your boyfriend so that he can be our bouncer?
If he
come.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if he's off.
Oh, can you bring your gay boyfriend if you want?
Yes. That's what we should do. Ladies, why have we not thought of this before? Let's commit after my show is over to having one night a week that's about going somewhere else.
Okay.
Like a new.
And we're going to hold you to this show being over. Right?
I can do that. Yes, you can hold it to me until I start my summer show.
Well,
but you get me for 6 months.
Summer show?
No. I'm sorry.
I need you to back
I start rehearsals 1st of August for my fall show.
Okay, there you go. That's better. That's when school starts for all of us. We're good with
6 months. So, but we should do that.
We should.
And
that would be great.
He'll come.
Okay,
He's
that would be great.
He's great at that.
Once a week?
Yes.
Okay. Twice a month?
I could do twice a month.
I could do once a week.
You cannot.
I can too.
Work.
I can do it once a week.
We can't even do this once a week.
That's not our fault. That's Lauren's fault.
Okay, it might be it might be my fault. I'm really busy.
It's
a private
mission.
But let's not set it. Let's not put confines on ourselves, but let's shoot for doing it as often as we can. But we should do that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because I'm just there to have fun. He'll help you.
You would too, because you're not there to look.
Yes,
you're
that's
there to
true.
scope it out.
That's true. Yeah.
That'd be great.
And talk. Talk.
And we could go to Birmingham and to Nashville and to Chattanooga and other places.
Okay.
We wouldn't have to stay right here, Huntsville.
Huntsville, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
Well, good.
And we were doing that girls thing for a while. We need to
do that again.
Just let me get through March. It is my fault.
Well, that's
too busy.
That's okay.
Y'all have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shows since July.
Yes, we know.
Yes. And
we have come to see several of them.
Yes, 4 of them were for work. Or 2 of them were not for work.
Those are the ones we didn't see.
Yeah.
And so I'm shutting it down hard. I don't have any more shows.
I'm excited about that.
I am too.
So
I've cleaned out a lot of stuff in my house.
Okay.
Maybe I can convince you to do something over my spring break.
Okay.
So anyway. Well, all right. Well, I think
we can continue the apps conversation later.
Yeah, because we've been doing that. We could go on and on. Maybe we need to get a little more experience and report back.
Yeah. I know. I think the ultimate review is we don't love them.
No,
it's better to meet people. It's just better to meet people organically,
yeah,
because then you know what your attraction level is, and then you can have some level of rapport.
But we're not. I don't think either Beth or I are really we have to have a person in our lives, and so it makes it really easy to be very picky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to meet somebody, I'm perfectly fine waiting to meet somebody organically that way. I like being in this place. So, all right. Well, what are y'all doing this week? Y'all doing anything this week to live a life you love?
Yes. I am going to the beach with one of my best friends, and I haven't seen her and spent time with her in a while. And so I think that'll be fun.
Oh, that's good. I don't know. I may go to Pensacola that second weekend in March. I won't get to go to the beach till then to see my kids.
Well, the beach isn't going to be warm or anything. It's
just nice to look at it.
Yeah, it is. It's
but
nice
I don't know if I will.
Y'all, when it snowed on the beach, if I had not had a show that weekend, I would have driven down there to the beach. I would have gone down. I was I can't believe I'm missing this.
But you couldn't have driven down after it started because you couldn't have gotten there thanks to the ice because of where we live.
Could I not have gotten there?
Well, I mean, because once the ice freezes on the roads, we don't know what to do with that. We're in the South. We're weird about that. You'd had to have already been there for it to happen.
Yeah. What I'm doing to live a life I love this week is my son is in a show this weekend, and it's one of the biggest roles he's had, and I'm gonna sob the whole time, but I'm really excited.
I'm very excited to see him.
Yeah,
and he has complicated things to do for his role.
He does. He's Pinocchio in Shrek.
Yes, Junior. But he has to make his nose grow. Yes, make his nose grow back and remember all his lines and all that.
But he's been really excited about it, and I'm excited to see him in it. So that's my fun thing this week. Yep.
Well, I feel like I lived the life I loved this past weekend so much Houston with a friend, and it's always nice to just get on a plane and go somewhere else and come back. So this week,
yes, it is.
I'm actually really looking forward. Tomorrow is a professional learning day for teachers, and kids are home remote or whatever. But I'm co-leading a professional development session tomorrow afternoon, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. I get to talk about some AI things and some teachery things, and all of the part of the teachery things I really miss. So I'm excited about that. But as far as the rest of the week, I also have class tomorrow night, and I'm just enjoying every single time I can stand in front of some paint. I'm really, really enjoying it.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
And also going to see your kid this weekend. I'm going to do that too. That'll be fun.
I'm sorry. I want to hear him say.
Oh, it's okay. No, there was his drama teacher posted this video of them in rehearsal, and it's the last bit of Shrek, and they're like, and that's when, a gingerbread man and a witch and a what? And he goes, and a very handsome puppet. I'm like, oh, I am going to ugly cry through this entire show.
I love it.
I'm not going to be able to make it. And what's funny about my son is he's cognizant of the fact that he's always in the ensemble. Like the other day, I said, buddy, do you want to audition for Peter Pan this summer because the local theater company is doing it? And he was like, yeah, I want to be John. I'll probably just be in the ensemble because that's what I usually am. And I was like, but you're young, bud. Like, you'll get to be.
But he's getting older.
But he always wants to have a mic check. That's his thing. He wants he's like, if I could just have a role with a mic check, just so he can go test 1, 2, 3, 4, or sing a little bit of his number. And I was like, that is so funny that's what he wants. He doesn't want the big role.
I wonder if he's actually grown up in the theater. Like, how many plays has that kid been to at this point in his life?
Oh, he lives there.
Hundreds.
He lives there. He could take notes from me at this point, but he doesn't want the big role. He just wants the mic check. So anyway,
I'm stair-stepping. It's all right.
I'm excited for him, and it's going to be really fun.
So much.
That is exciting. So. All right. Well,
all right,
ladies.
Here's.
Oh, wait.
All right. See y'all next week.
Bye.
We hope, Lauren.
Oh, my God.
Thank y'all for joining us for Champagne Sunday.
See you next week, girls.
See you next week. Yeah, cheers.
Have a good week.
Cheers.
Yes, cheers.